John Doerr again with two Marine Dads here. In today's short, we want to go over, a simple yet powerful concept of, no never means no, or a bit more pop culturally, it's the concept of what a man can do versus what a man can't do. As said by Johnny Depp, in between, sessions of bitching about why his fucking rum's gone, but he does make a good point when he looks at Orlando Bloom and he's like, you need to wrestle with yourself and figure out that you're a pirate and a good person. So that point, coming back down to earth here and putting it towards some real world experiences, we'll just jump in here. How many times, guys, have you been told no or told impossible, or you're going to fail, or you're never going to make it, or even better, when they get personal, hey, you're too fat, or you're too skinny, or you're too tall, or you're too black, or you're too white, or you're too Jewish. People who do whatever it is you want to do don't come from this part of the neighborhood. I want you to tell Spud Webb, who is 5'7", that he can't be an NBA star. I want you to tell Oprah Winfrey, that who came from the poorest state in a very poor neighborhood, that she cannot be the most successful daytime talk show host ever, and take out people like Phil Donahue, who is like the titan of his time for that section, for that portion of TV. What about guys like Elon Musk, who broke into the electric car business and competed with every other gigantic car manufacturer out there, some of whom got like the Chevy Volt was getting subsidies from the federal government to have it built by Chevy. What about Butterbean? I don't know that he could fit into an F-150. He's a big man, but he was also a successful boxer. He did not look like a boxer. What about Little Dicky? He's a rap artist, and he's working with people like Snoop Dogg. And you know what? He's about as Jewish as a gefilte fish pie. He doesn't get any more awkward Jewish looking than him. And he's, he broke into the rap music industry and is doing well. Eminem, again, white as snow, I guess Vanilla Ice, same thing. He'd be another guy who broke into a dominantly black industry, or an African-American industry that, Little Dicky came from a rich neighborhood, and everybody knows successful rappers come from Compton or poor neighborhoods or from jail or whatever, and he's never done any of that, So there's, it doesn't matter what you do. It matters it matters that you don't stop moving forward, and you start, you make sure whatever the perceptual or pop-up roadblocks happen, that you figure out a way to flank them. And what I mean by that is, if you fall down, you're going to fall down, whatever it is. If it's Little Dicky who wanted to become a rapper, I'm sure his first rap sucked. I can tell you right now, Oprah Winfrey's first career, in news broadcasting, I believe, and I'll verify this after the video, she failed and got fired. She was like a news anchor for a local station there. What about, just looking at me, for instance, I grew up so poor I couldn't pay attention. Literally, like, we had very few wants. We had all kinds of our needs were met. And I don't know how my mom did it, but she did a good job. But we were poor. We were dirt poor, literally. I grew up in a shack, provided by my grandfather, because we couldn't afford anything else. Thank God he was there. So how do we go from that to me being kind of a upper middle classman now? How did I go from being specific learning disabled? And I'm sure right about now you're thinking, oh God, John, that's harsh. It's called some other sort of touchy-feely thing that doesn't use the word disabled at the end of it. I was called specific learning disabled, and what that meant was I had a reading comprehension problem. How did I go from that to being the English student of the year in college? Or authoring a book. I authored a book, and it will be successful, and it will be marketed and published by the end of the year. That is my goal. That is going to happen. I have it written down. So the questions are, well, how do you do that? How do you go from, being short and also being good in the NBA? The answer is effort. The answer is trial and error. The answer is continuing to move forward when others tell you can't. Well, you can't do that. I've been told that. I've been told no many, many, many times in my life, and I've always come out successful at whatever I put my mind to. And it was a very simple concept. In some cases, I just use an index card. You write down what your goals are, and at the end of the day, you draw lines through what you finished, and you circle what you haven't, and you carry it forward to the next one. Or in my book, I actually have the page from my notebook, my $5 notebook, that I use to map out or to plan my goal. I wrote it down. I physically wrote it down, literally wrote it down in a book, and then I would go back and I would adjust the notes afterwards. It would all fit on one page. The whole book fit on one page in a notebook. So I mean, it's not. You don't need you don't need a quadraphonic ball bunt. You don't need anything fancy. You just need a simple notebook and a pen. You can get that at Walmart for under $5. So point being, guys, is that, write it down, figure out what you want to do, and then go execute it. Execute it violently. Execute it with the ferocity of a damn tiger. To go back to my other video, do you want to be a zebra or do you want to be a tiger? You decide. They both have stripes. Which one do you want to be, part of the herd, or do you want to be your own? Now, the reason is, guys, going back to it, the reason why people tell you no or tell you that you can't isn't because that they think you're going to fail. It's because they don't like how they look in your eyes anymore. Now you're separating yourself from the herd. You're separating yourself from them. I mean, they're still fucking smoking a blunt and working at Sonic, for crying out loud, and you've moved up. You went and got your degree, or you went and you decided, hey, I want to start a company and I want to build something. You decide what it is you want to do and go do it, and other people are going to get pissed, and you're going to ruffle some feathers because you're changing the equation. I've seen people get mad at each other because the wife or the husband decided they wanted to take a college course at night, something that didn't have to do anything with the other spouse. Like, it didn't affect them at all. It didn't affect their money. They decided they wanted to go take a cooking course, and the other spouse got mad at them. And that's just because they changed the equation. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in my family. And that's the other thing too. Your family members are going to tell you things that shoot you down. They don't want you to succeed because they look bad in themselves. And it's not because they think you're going to fail. Again, basically you need to outflank the pop-up roadblocks. Like, if you set out to to build a house, or start a lawn mowing company or something. Doesn't matter how big or how small you think it is, you're not going to know what's going to happen. You're not going to know that you dug into your foundation and you figured out that, hey, there's nothing but sugar sand down there and you got to go down to bedrock and it's going to cost more. But you didn't know that, even though you thought you knew. You did your homework. You thought you knew what was underneath there. You uncover it and you have no idea. Or if you decide you want to go write a book. What do I know about writing a book? I'm SLD, remember? I have a reading comprehension problem, remember? But I went to Google and I figured out how to write a book. I saw other people who wrote books who I didn't find actually all that interesting, and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. So I did my homework. I Googled how to write a book. I Googled, what makes a good book versus what makes a bad book. I did my homework, and I surrounded myself and made contact with others who had already written a book. One gal I know is the only real person who I'm friends with who she wrote a book. It's published. I can tell you right now, her and I are complete opposites when it comes to politics. We're complete opposites when it comes to fundamentals of how we think. But you want to know what we're not opposite on? We're not opposite on writing a book or being published. We're not opposite on wanting to be successful. We're not opposite on our kids being successless. We're not opposite on hard work. I mean, so there's a lot of things that we can probably see eye to eye on. But who did I surround myself? Did I go surround myself with somebody who's smoking a bowl and working at Sonic or working at Burger King? No, I went and found somebody who wrote a book, and asked her, how did you do this? What does this mean? Here's the research. Here's what I think it means. Am I right? Am I wrong? So these are the types of things that I went out and surrounded myself with to be successful. Ask yourself, again, map it out. Map out what you're doing. It doesn't need to be something complex. One page, one card, write it down, and then make adjustments as you progress through it. I can show you that book, show you that page in my notebook, and you can see 3 different pens that I used. You can see the older stuff is smudged, and I got arrows and lines out, and no, this sucks, or I've got, hey, this is good, or hey, change this wording from this to that. Add a rule, take away a rule. These types of things. You can see the whole progression on it, and at the end of it, it looks like a spaghetti bowl. But I understood it. And it started off nice and neat, like 4 or 5 bullet points, and it turned into 1 page of scribbles here and there. That was my map. That was my roadmap. And it fit on 1 page to write a book, start to finish. So again, you need to figure out, no never means no. No always means yes. You can figure out a way to get moving and to outflank the roadblocks. You always have to move forward no matter what you're doing. You have to move forward. Continue. Don't just stop. You don't just shrug and be like, well, shit, you're SLD, John. There's no way you can ever write a fucking book, and I am. So you don't just shrug and go, well, you can't do it. Yes, you can. And then lastly, and you've heard me say this on other shorts, guys, and I can't stress it enough, is don't give a crap what anybody thinks about you. You know, people are going to judge you, and that is not on you. That is on them. Project that back to them. That's who the problem is their opinion, and they want to occupy some space up here. They want to get a free parking spot in your head. Don't let them. It's just that simple. Just know this. It is such a powerful feeling. It is such a powerful tool. Once you have it in your head and you actually believe it in your heart and you live like that, you're just like, I just don't care what that other person says. You know, and guys, don't spin this and say, well, John, you should care what your boss thinks. You should care what your wife thinks. That goes without saying, but at the end of the day, if someone's supporting you or someone's not supporting you, it's on them. It's nice when they get behind you. It's nice when they like what you're doing, but who cares? You got to categorize that in the same boat as the people who hate you for it. I go back to it all the time. You can, I don't know, most recently you can cancel a pipeline, and you're going to piss some people off if you do that. But you're going to make a lot of other people really, really happy. Who cares? If you feel that's the right decision to make, and I can't imagine why someone would think that, but he did, and he doesn't give a crap. So I mean, just think about this, guys. You can cure cancer and save millions of lives, and millions of people would love you. Millions of fathers, millions of husbands, millions of moms and daughters and aunts, and they'll just love you for it. You saved somebody in their family's life. But the drug companies are going to hate you, and the people who work at the cancer research labs that got to find new jobs are going to fucking hate you. So, and it doesn't matter. It's on them. So you move forward, and you care not what other people think. I'll close with that. Guys, please like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to do that. Please like and subscribe. And as always, Semper Fi.